Hello everyone, I'm Brian and today I have a guest. He played in our local tournament and he's going to give us, I guess, a rough idea of what happened there. And I'll go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Bret.
And where can you be found? You actually stream, don't you?
Yeah, I can be found on Twitch at Messy Desk Minis. There, all of my affiliates are linked, and I'm only streaming my commission paintings right now, but eventually we're gonna make our way to like actually playing some games.
Yeah, I know you said something about that. Streaming on in a live public area. It's like a speed run to being banned.
Yeah. I'm trying to. We're having like our first we're playing Jackbox tomorrow because I promised the community that we'd do some community stuff.
Gotcha.
And I'm wondering who's gonna utter the first racial slur, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, well, I guess that was fun while it lasted.
I will put a link to your channel if it's still up in the description below.
Thank you.
All right, so I guess just to get to know you a little bit better, what armies do you play, and essentially who's your main army?
So I play fewer armies than I own. I own, yeah, I know. I own Imperial Knights and Death Guard, although I don't play them very often. I am mainly an Imperial Guard player. Ninth edition, I took a big break from them because they weren't fun in ninth edition to me, and I'm finally like rediscovering that love right now. But I'm also Sisters, Eldar, and Tau. Those are my big four.
Okay, and you said you're Imperial Guard mostly, right?
Mere Imperial Guard mostly, yeah.
How
Took
long
a
you?
big break from them in ninth to focus on my Tau game, my Sisters game, but now that 10th edition is out, I'm back to Guard.
All right, how long you been playing?
We started at the tail end of seventh, and
Whoa,
we didn't.
who's we here?
The people who got me like into the game.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so I'm friends with people who are like obsessive compulsive about games that they play.
Mm.
So we played a lot. We played only in their house for the entirety of 8th edition.
Brings back memories, man.
Yeah, so like we never went anywhere and we never discovered any new like metas or stuff like that. We were just looking at net decking lists and shit like that.
I
I'm
guess
allowed to cuss.
what not so bad, but why not?
Okay, I'll keep it to a minimum. I won't be like throwing it here or there.
So,
So we didn't. I'm sorry, we didn't play like any tournaments until ninth edition.
yeah. Oh, wow, really?
Yeah,
Um,
we
so
we missed out on the crazy wacky Eldar stuff. We missed out on Triptide, and I for one am
Trip.
super happy that I missed out on that stuff.
What was the first army you collected then? Actually, that's an interesting question now.
I collected Guard.
Oh, the first army too, huh?
Yeah, I started off collecting plastic. Like I bought a Lehman Russ. I bought some Guardsmen, and then a friend of mine reached out. A dude's uncle was getting out of the hobby, and he just wanted to sell his stuff. And I straight up robbed this man. I beat him to the concrete and took his stuff essentially. I tried to give this guy more money. I really did.
Well
Like,
then,
I tried.
but you can't claim that then. If you tried and he denied, then it's not your fault.
Easily, easily 8,000 points of guard, including tanks, lanes, guardsmen, accoutrement, like all the other crap that I play with today. I got for 200 bucks.
Wow.
Yeah,
That okay.
literally robbery.
All right. So, anyways, so for the tournament, what army did you play, and how well did you do?
I played Imperial Guard for the tournament. A list extremely similar to the list that I played against you in the game that you just posted.
Okay.
Except I cut Sly Marbo for another 10-man guard squad and changed some weapons around.
Gotcha. And what was mostly the army composition in that tournament, by the way? I know, but just to let the people out there know.
Sure, yeah. I wanted a core backbone of
No, no, no.
indirect.
I meant in terms of other armies, like how many armies were out there? What was the main composition of the army tournaments? Like was it a lot of Space Marine?
Custodes.
What?
Custodes.
Golden
Dude, I'm
Boys?
so sick and tired of Custodes. Oh my goodness gracious. Do you know how many Calidus assassins that tournament had?
Oh my God! I'm assuming every Custodes army.
So there were 20 players. 5 of them were Custodes, and I'm pretty sure there were 8 Calidus assassins floating around. I was going to scream if I had to play against another Calidus assassin. But so we had a very good well, it honestly was not that diverse. I think we only had 3 Xenos players throughout the entire tournament.
Whoa! So all Space Marines, Imperial Guard, and Custodes?
No, there's Chaos.
Oh, well, I guess technically they're not Xenos. Yeah. Okay. You got me.
Yeah. The biggest armies were Custodes, followed by Space Marines, and then shoot, I'd have to pull that up to give you like an actual good rundown. I can't remember exactly what we had.
But mostly I remember going over there and just looking, and I couldn't believe the amount of Custodes there were. It was crazy.
I was very upset. Yeah. Okay, if you want to give me a second, if you want to, I can actually tell you right now what we mostly had.
All right. So how many were there?
So out of the 20 people that we had 6 Space Marine players, all different factions, luckily. 5 Custodes, all Custodes. 4 Eldar, or 4 Xenos, excuse me. Then there was me, the only Imperial Guard player. And then we had like some other garbage floating around where it's unspecified in the rosters.
Gotcha. And what did you face in terms of your, I guess, the game 1, who did you play against, game 2, and game 3, and what was a win or a loss?
I played against 3 Calidus Assassin effects each game, and I wanted to cry. But as far as like the armies prepared up, the first game was Custodes, the second game was Tyranids, and then the third game was Ultramarines.
Oh, well, at least you didn't get all freaking Custodes.
I mean, it didn't matter. There was a Calidus Assassin in each one of those lists.
Wait,
it was horrible.
There was a Calidus Assassin in Tyranids?
Yeah, it's the Hive Tyrant or the Swarm Lord, one of them. It just does the same freaking thing.
It shoots.
Yeah, except it's connected to instead of the Calidus Assassin's effect of extra CP attached to the Calidus Assassin, it's now attached to the Swarm Lord, something that's impossible to bring down.
Alright, so I guess kind of give a general idea of game 1, I guess, against it was the Golden Boys. So
Yeah.
how did that game go for you, and what do you think was the deciding factor in terms of whether you won or lost that game?
I do not think my opponent made very many mistakes.
Really?
He rolled extremely badly for the first
Oh.
2 turns, but it was kind of like even if he would have rolled better, it still wouldn't have been good for him, right?
Well,
Guard have a surprisingly good matchup against Custodes with our volume of shots
yeah.
and the extra armor penetration that we can get on our guns.
That's what really hurt me in our game, man. I didn't really like I didn't necessarily like the list that I had. It wasn't meant for horde armies like yours, but I realized that I need more firepower on the field, and you plowing that many shots into my crisis suit, man. Good lord.
Do you know off the top of your head how many crisis suits you lost to guardsmen?
As opposed to like indirect fire.
Yeah, because losing something to guardsmen never feels good, and that's what makes guard kind of a threat right now. Because AP2 lasguns will kill something.
Yeah, the thing about it is though is that I don't fear anything higher AP than no AP. No AP, or just AP in general, it just doesn't matter with my crisis suits, but it's just the volume of fire and the sheer fact that I was rolling quite below average when I was rolling against you, so that didn't help. Like if I could barely roll 4+.
Well, to be fair, armor penetration does mean a lot against you,
No,
because you would be saving a las gun on a 3 versus
a 4.
saving it on a 4, right?
Yes, but again, AP1 goes up to my invul anyway. I'm expecting that kind of firepower.
AP1 brings you to your cover save because fucking everything gets cover.
That is true. That is true. Put it this way: I am expecting to go in my invuls and everything. I'm playing like that, so
And that's how custodians are, right? Like you expect to get to your invuln the whole time.
not for
But
custodians. I have a 2-up save, and then with cover.
yeah, but I'm talking about things that kill custodians.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Think about this. One guard unit is 65 points, regardless of what you do to it nowadays. One custodian is 4/5 of a guard squad.
What, like 55 points?
Whenever a single guard squad can take down 2 custodians, you're losing the game.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Just that two strategy or the stratagem and is it the Lehman Russ tank's ability? I guess the commander tank one.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the
Yeah,
commander, it's the secondary one.
gotcha. But yeah, man, that's what you did to my broadsides, and good lord. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think even though I rolled slightly below average, I did fairly well, and you still destroyed them.
Yeah, I mean, it took the entire guard shooting phase, but knocking how many points is that? 330 points off the
Yes.
field instantly?
So you're looking at also, mind you, I also had a stratagem to have 6-up plus feel no pain on them. So you end up causing, I think it was 36 wounds. Mind you, 30 wounds on the first unit you wiped out, and then the unit behind them you cause additional wounds. Is it 34 wounds, I think?
For 3 broadsides?
Well, 30 wounds for 3 broadsides, then you also dealt additional damage to the broadsides behind
Oh,
them.
I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you did a lot.
It's definitely something that guard players understand that if we have so much shooting, but if we really need to kill something, you have to dedicate everything into it because we are still a very swingy army.
And I'll say the same thing for Tau as well. Considering, especially going against Necrons with their freaking resurrection, it took an entire Tau shooting. Literally every squad could shoot at this warrior squad, and one warrior squad died.
Oh yeah, dude, we could sit here and talk about Necrons all damn day. The Necron Codex is so incredibly strong. It is mind-bogglingly strong.
Okay, we're going a little bit off topic here,
Yeah,
so
I know. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. It's good discussion.
Do you want me to go back to lists?
So, well, no, I mean, so your first game you went up against the Golden Boys, and what really hurt them is the AP2
Oh,
shots
okay.
Guardsman. Was it your indirect fire as well, or
It was the Field Bombasts. It really was.
what is that?
They are 2 damage each. AP3 after all the stratagems and wounding mostly custodies on 3s. and being targeted by scout sentinels, that just means I'm hitting better. The fact that they can't shrug off that much AP3 2 damage really hurts. They might have a feel no pain, but that's where the volume of shots comes in.
Yeah, no kidding.
It was rough for that dude, and he was not a bad player. It was his first tournament. He performed, or like he piloted them extremely well. He just can't deal with how many shots I'm dishing out.
Especially when you had an AP0 weapon and became AP2.
Man, he unfortunately learned that 20 Kriegsmen standing still is just bad. Holy shit.
All right, so you won that game. Do you happen to know the score, or remember the
Yes,
score?
it was 91-40.
Whoo! Wow. Good lord.
Yeah,
Alright.
it was a good game. It was a good game. He still scored fairly well for what happened to him. I'm very proud of him.
Way to make him feel better about himself, about
He was a
losing
good
to
guy.
guard.
Yeah, he was a good guy. I hope he comes back.
All right, so game 2, that's the Nids, correct?
It was the Nits.
And did you win or lose?
I lost.
Whoa, man! I figured you have a fairly good shot against the Nids. So what happened?
We discussed it. We figured that if we had gone to turn 5, I would have won the game.
Oh, so ended on turn 4?
Ended on his turn, or the bottom of 4. Yeah.
Hmm. And so, how did the first few rounds go?
I floundered. I've messed up a lot. This was my first game into NIDS, this edition,
Hmm.
and I should have been able to see what was happening beforehand.
Oh, you have to elaborate on that. I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, have you had a game into NIDS yet?
Um, no.
Okay, so imagine this. Imagine at the start of one of your turns, the NIDS player goes, okay, everything takes a battle shock test.
Hold on, let me correct that. I have played against NIDS, but not in ninth or 10th edition.
Okay, okay.
But okay, yeah,
But
I know what you're talking about.
we're only concerned with 10th, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, I guess he did it right away. Was it he went first?
No, 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 no. He did this on the top of turn 2, and that's what solidified his win.
Ooh, wow, interesting.
So, or excuse me, the bottom of turn 2. Yeah. So, what would you do if your 6-man crisis suit squad failed battle shock?
Nothing would happen.
Uh, yeah, well, can they be spotted?
They can be guided.
They can be guided.
Yeah.
So you can't spot if you fail battle shock.
Yeah, they're not going to spot. My crisis suits are not the spotters.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, okay, let's rephrase that then, since now I understand the army. Let's say you only have one unit of Tetris left, and they fail battle shock. What do you do?
Um,
You need these rerolls. You need the rerolls.
that's well, I have kind of backups in a sense, but I get what you're saying. Essentially,
No,
you,
I
you
am
did not.
baiting you. I'm baiting you into the question. Just swallow the bait.
Well, you're trying to say that just basically you're denying my army rule.
Yes.
Okay, let's just say that you deny my army rule. I mean, I've been rolling Tau with freaking 4+ anyway. It's kind of
Okay.
expected.
All right. All right. I'll answer the question for you.
Okay.
I would spend 1 CP and pass battle shock.
Yeah, I get you.
What if I was to tell you that that stratagem doesn't work whenever he enacts the army rule?
Wait.
Because his ability resolves in the command phase before battle shock is a thing. The stratagem says that you can only use it once you fail a battle shock test in the battle shock step of the command phase.
Let me rule shoot her a little bit. When do you become unbattle shocked?
At the start of your turn.
So he
Start
did
of the
it.
command phase.
So you went first or second?
Second.
Okay, so you're battle shocked during his turn 3.
No, I'm battle shocked on my turn.
You said you said it did it at the bottom. Oh, at the start of your turn.
Yeah, so the bottom of turn 3, start of my turn.
Okay.
Excuse me. Let me rephrase all that. Bottom of battle round 2, start of my turn.
Gotcha. Before or after the command phase?
No, he enacts it in my command phase.
I guess after, technically speaking, you would automatically pass the battle shock test, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
see. And then so essentially your entire. Did you
Yeah,
fail?
so you can't use the stratagem until you reach the battle shock phase. Until you reach the battle shock step of the command phase,
Oh, good lord.
and his ability resolves before that happens.
Hmm. So after you quote unquote auto regroup with any units that's battle shock last turn and that are above 50% would normally auto regroup at the beginning of your turn. After that, he did it. That way you don't get the stratagem ability. Correct.
Yes.
But nonetheless, though, if they're battle shock and you have to take a battle shock, well, no, I guess not.
Because it states when you can use that stratagem.
Yeah, I definitely have to get a closer reading on that rule for sure. But anyway, so did you fail like a lot of your battle shock?
I failed every crucial battle shock that I needed.
Like how many out of all your army? Like 50% of your army failed battle shock, or more?
Easily 50% of the army. Yeah.
Ow.
So if you're battle shocked in the guard, you can give orders but not receive orders.
Whoa.
And not receiving orders is rough.
Yes, I can see that for sure. I did not realize that. I didn't think battle shock affected receiving orders. I thought that's just stratagems.
No. If a unit is battle shocked, it immediately loses all orders attached to it.
Wow, and cannot receive orders.
Nope.
Wow, so Tau isn't the only army that loses their army ability when Battle Shock then. I did not notice about Guard.
It's one of the few instances where a battle shock test can be crucial, because battle shock is kind of lackluster for what it is, but in this game it mattered so much.
Well, yeah, it matters a lot to Tau and Guard now.
Yeah, but like we're only two armies out of like the 17, 18 that you can play. I want battle shock to be more of a threat.
Yes, and it's a threat to two armies.
Yep, it's a threat to two of them.
It's like Battle Shock doesn't matter for majority army.
Technically, I can see it being bad on Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights, but that's only for OC purposes.
Ah, yeah. I mean, shit.
But anyway, his list was 3 Barbed Heradules, 3 Biovores, 3 Pyrovores, 3 Gargoyles, a Swarm Lord, and a Hive Tyrant. So an extremely streamlined list, right?
How
I've
many
also
models?
learned this other garbage that Tyranids are doing. And so a Biovore, instead of shooting in the command phase, it can place a Spore Mine within range
Oh
of its gun.
yeah.
Yes! Yes! And so the Spore Mine comes down in the shooting phase, so you can't overwatch it, and it gets to do actions for free as soon as it lands. So even though it doesn't have a gun, it is still eligible to shoot
Mhm.
per Games Workshop FAQ, and it can do as many actions as you want. So you bring 3 Biovores, you cleanse 3 times a turn, score like an easy 70 points on secondaries. Oh my goodness.
You can't score above 40 though on secondary.
Oh, I don't care. He was scoring points.
Yeah, I heard about that. I've heard people talk about that.
It
That
was a
is,
rough game.
yeah, that's kind of dumb. So essentially, did you lose a lot of models? How was the killing factor in terms between you versus them?
Not terrible. Like he killed a lot of guardsmen, and I killed a lot of gargoyles. He eventually got a Lehman Russ through my own stupidity. That was an oopsie. He overwatched it, and his entire army can lethally hit vehicles. So, oh well. That was a rough one.
So, because the reason why I'm just checking like how lethal is your army against a particular another army, but that does just because you're lethal doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the game, because points obviously matters the most.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
was
yeah,
it
yeah.
was it a killing balance, or were you killing more, or was he killing more?
He was killing more,
Uh,
definitely.
and
Because I
then
was trying to focus fire the barbed Heradules with the heavier guns. The artillery took took down the gargoyles as best as you could, right?
Mhm.
Like gargoyle showed up, field bombast, goodbye. Like it's just gone. The barbed Heradules were very difficult to put down because they were going to outrange the tank that was killing them.
And in terms of, I guess, capturing objectives, were you struggling to contest it, or?
I was, which is weird for guard. Like I should be able to hold that extremely well. However, the base of the barbed Hierodule is so big that it takes an extra like 10 inches of movement to get onto the objective to go through that Hierodule. And I was just not in the position where I could do it. He piloted them extremely well, formed an entire wall of barbed Hierodules, so where you couldn't get through them,
Hmm.
and he essentially shut off half the battlefield
With the fat boys, huh?
with just some big, beefy boys.
So, and what was the score in this one?
This one was close. This one was
Oh,
84 his way, 81 my way.
wow, 3 points, huh?
Yeah, if we had gone to turn 5, I'm 100% certain. I'm like 90% certain I would have won.
Was hmm. All right, so the last round against the boys in blue.
Boys in blue.
All right, so how did that go?
It was an absolute dumpster.
What do you mean by
Poor Jeffrey. Oh my god. It was guard indirect, man.
that?
It feels bad. It feels really bad.
So let's see who got first turn.
I got first turn, and I put. I couldn't. So this was an interesting game because he did the Reaver Lieutenant strategy. Have you gone against that yet?
No.
So the Reaver Lieutenant can infiltrate.
Mm-hmm.
You put it on the center battlefield objective because he's lone op, and he does this thing where at the beginning of the game, if he's on an objective
Oh
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
standing on that objective, you get to reroll the wound rolls of 1.
Yes. Units within 6 inches of him.
Is it he does it on the objective or himself?
Any enemy model. I'm gonna pull up the data because I do run him actually. I thought you were talking about some. You said the Reaver Lieutenant.
I thought it was
He's
the Reaver
no, it's
Lieutenant.
just a lieutenant with a combi weapon. Is what his name is. At least that's
Oh,
what it's called.
Lamau. Okay, then.
So his ability here. Priority objective identify aura. At the start of the first battle round, if your army contains one or more models with this ability, you can select one objective marker on the battlefield to be the priority object. Until the end of the battle round, while a friendly Adeptus Astartes unit within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit that is within range of the target priority, reroll a wound roll of 1. So the
Oh,
enemy
okay.
the enemy has to be on objective, and any unit within 6 inches of him can reroll wound rolls of 1 against the enemy on that objective that you
I
targeted.
understand. Okay. So, he lost him turn 1.
What?
Yep.
How
So
to?
you know how he moves if you get too close to him?
Yeah, within 9 inches.
I just parked a Chimera and a Scout Sentinel outside of 10 inches and blew him to smithereens.
So you make him not move. What? Did he leave him out in the open?
He left him behind terrain, like he was behind terrain, but I had the movement to get where I needed to be,
Huh.
and I shoved a overcharged plasma gun, 2 heavy bolters, a melta gun, and 200 killer missiles and a heavy flamer into him.
Holy smokes, man! Did you not overkill this dude?
I mean, I wanted him dead. I didn't want him to be alive.
I mean, he does have a 5 feel no pain, so
Well, that's a
not anymore.
skill issue, yeah.
All right, so you blew the guy out the water, out the wherever he was.
Yeah,
Forward
and
deploy.
then Guard Indirect took off 5 Desolators, I think.
Yeah, I was wondering how many Desolator squads did he run?
He had one 10-man blob. He had a 10-man blob of Desolators, a 10-man blob of Stern Guard, and a 10-man blob of were those things that Hellfire boys?
Infernus Marines.
No, it's the Hellblasters.
Ah, the plasma.
Dude, Hellblasters are sick. Like, oh my goodness, that is so much plasma.
It is, and when they die, they can do it again.
Yeah, it
Well,
was. I should have blown them. I should have targeted them first in retrospect because the Desolator Marines don't. He was not using them efficiently enough to kill guardsman squads.
what?
So if I would have taken them out, then I would have had an easier time keeping the 20-man Krieg squad around.
That's really strange. What did he run his Desolators with?
A
Is it the
apothecary?
no? Well, that's
Apothecary with bolter discipline, I think.
yeah, that's standard. But I'm more along the lines. Did he run the big shot or the little shot in terms of their secondary? Like a strength 10 shot, or is it like
Oh yeah, that's their primary weapon. He was running the strength 10 one.
ah?
Yeah, so that he also never fired that gun once because he refused to let me see them for some reason.
I
He
can't.
he he just kept them behind. He just kept them behind a building so I could never see them, and he just let the artillery finish them off.
So that's kind of dumb. I will say I kind of did that same thing, kind of, in one match, but I did pop them out to use the big guns. But I had a different idea with them, which I plan on running sometime later. So okay,
well, I look forward to seeing it.
all right. So turn one, you killed 5 desolators. That lieutenant, and what else?
Oh, that was it. He hit his army pretty well.
Gotcha. So how did the rest of
Yeah.
the turns go?
The rest of the turns went pretty. All of them were in my favor. All of them, honestly. He failed to kill the Demolisher Cannon Lehman Russ. I brought in a Scout Sentinel. I dropped the Scions and just started like whittling Marines away. Eventually, the Hellblaster squad took down the 20 man because I underestimated like the shoot on death thing.
Hmm.
But that's my bad. I should have been able to see that coming. What decided the game was Rowboat Girly Man himself striding up to the objective that had the 10-man Scion squad. It had the Scions, another guardsman squad, a Scout Sentinel, and the Lehman Russ Demolisher Cannon, and a character that I needed to keep around to keep scoring on that objective. Because the objective, you have to have a character on it to score.
Hmm.
It's a real. I really like this mission. It's more that I want to see from GW. But he was planning on blowing up what Girly Man needed to do, and then walking to that character and just killing everything. Right.
Hmm.
I overwatched him with the Scions once Girly Man moved, and the Scions already killed him once.
Oh.
And then so Girly Man stood up at the end of my turn, and then on the top of his turn, he moved him to get into charge position, and then the Scions overwatched and did 9 damage to him
It's
with las guns. Because in his command phase, I told them to first rank fire, second rank fire, and if they're re-rolling hits and getting sustained sixes hit, and they get more shots, then I'm absolutely doing it.
good lord, man! You told Gilliman to sit back down.
Girly Man felt the Scions. Oh my goodness gracious. And then he blew up the Scout Sentinel in melee and then died because the Scout Sentinel exploded. And he just put his dice down. He's like, I'm done. I can't do it. That sealed the game. That's it.
What
And
turn
we
did
just
it
talked
end?
it out. We talked it out from then. We ended on turn 5, but he essentially just wanted to talk out since the bottom of 3.
Oh yeah, so essentially the everything kind of stopped at turn 3 and just talked out 4 and 5.
Yes. That game, I scored 91 to his 30.
Not as bad as my fight against the demons in ninth edition.
Yeah, well, Demons in ninth edition were their own like hellscape.
Yeah, he hit turn 1. It was over with. Anyways, interesting. So let's see. So what was, I guess, the most effective army against you was basically the Nids because of those stupid the little boogers they pop out.
I wouldn't say that is the most effective army against me,
Hmm.
because if I had known like what was happening beforehand, I could have screened him out a lot better. Because they still can't drop within ninth, right?
Hmm. Sort of deep striking, essentially.
Yeah, they're essentially deep striking, and I have the guardsmen to screen him off of objectives. And so if I would have known that that was what was going to be happening, I could have stopped that much better. I don't think I went into an army that really deals with how many guardsmen I have. And which is weird because I went into 10-man Desolators, right?
Yeah.
They barely kill 10 guardsmen.
Was he not rolling it right? His
No,
Castellan launch?
he was rolling extremely well. Well, you know what? I'll take that back, right? You sit without stratagems, and if you're just firing them raw,
Uh-huh.
you're killing 10 guardsmen.
I figure more than that. I mean, I played my Ultramarines just barely one day, and my 10-man Desolator squad on an Overwatch against Necron warriors killed 7 of them. So I was hitting on 6s, exploding 6s, no AP. He got cover, and I dealt ace. He did have 24 Necrons in there, though, or 20 some odd Necrons in there. So even though I'm hitting on 6s, I still killed 6. That's with Necrons getting full cover with cover saves and feel no pain. Is it feel no pains? Yeah, feel no pains. And yeah, and killed 7. How in the world did he just kill 10 guardsmen?
Mostly because of if you're firing raw, you're going to be giving me a cover save. You are going to be -1 to hit, and that's pretty much it.
Oh,
So like five of them might be able to kill a guard squad, but 10 of them definitely kill a guard squad. So in my mind, it's much better to try and neuter the entire squad before you can split fire into another one, right?
Yes, yes, especially with Oath of Moment as well.
Yeah, in an oath a moment, if you're oathing a guard squad, then Lamau, sure, whatever.
Well, I mean, if you got to get rid of their objective holders. And
Yeah, yeah.
AP2 last guns.
I mean, yeah, but also AP2 las guns, I'm only wounding, a couple times.
Yeah, but no. Here's an interesting thing I discovered about Space Marines and their indirect fire for the Desolation Squad. If you do not go first, technically speaking, you are not remaining stationary.
Yes. You can only remain stationary on your turn.
That is so weird. It's like you literally just sit up, you did not move, and how are you not technically remaining stationary? You have to choose that as an option.
I've had the same issue because I'm a guard player, and to get the benefit of being a guard player, you have to remain stationary.
Huh. So, interestingly enough, anyway, so you talked it out, you won quite a bit, right? Because we had a little bit of a technical difficulty a little bit earlier. So what was the score again?
The score was 91 to 30.
Gotcha, yeah. And I guess we were actually talking about the effectiveness against your army, and you said none of them so far, even including the Desolation Squad, right?
I think the Marines had the best matchup into the army. Yes, 100%.
Damn, even though you lost against the Nids, they weren't necessarily. It's just because that you wasn't aware of their abilities, which I'll say is the same thing for me whenever I play against an army. I don't care to look at their codex, even though I would love to, but I just find out the hard way.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes actual dedicated time for it.
Yeah, and the way, generally speaking, the easiest way to find out about people's armies is by playing against them, and you you learn the hard way, as I always say. So, anyways, who won the tournament?
The Charles Pickert won the tournament. He's part of Salthammer.
What army did it play?
Custodes.
And do you know what could have won him the game? Was he different from other Custodes, or like in terms of?
I did not see his list. Let me see if it is posted on BCP and if I can access it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So what was the list?
The Custodes list was extremely streamlined. 1 Blade Champion, 2 Shield Captains, 20 Custodian Guard, another 5 Custodian Guard, 1 2-man Alaris Custodians unit, 6 Custodian Wardens with a Vexilla, a Caldas Assassin, and an Extraction Squad. Can't leave without the Calidius Assassin.
Now, do explain that one. I keep thinking of the Vindicare Assassin because that's my favorite one. What's the Calidus Assassin?
Okay. So the Calidus Assassin is the extra command points for Stratagems Assassin.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that one. What is that one? It's the female
She's a
one.
murderer. She's the woman in the skin tight suit.
Yeah, I have the model, the old one.
Oh god, that's hideous.
Yeah, she has her hands in the air.
Yeah, she doesn't look amazing.
No, none of the old ones do, except for maybe the Evisaur. Doesn't look too bad.
I mean, he's fine, but he's just some skull dude,
Yeah.
It's hard to mess that up.
A skull that looks like a cannon in the back end of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so what were we talking about before I had to pause it about
what gave him the win, probably.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think? I guess kind of. Did he play similar to other guards, or was his list vastly different, or was it pretty much similar?
I don't know because I didn't get to play.
You did play one other.
Play this one.
You did play one other guard. Was their list roughly the same?
Oh, I see what you mean. He had 1 less shield captain and had 2 blade champions instead. His custodian guard were in smaller squads, and instead of the wardens, he actually had a tank. And I do not think that the Custody tank is extremely good. I think it's pretty lackluster.
Much like the Talus.
Yeah.
Well, at least
But
sounds.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to tell you the top 5 of the army.
Oh yeah. The top 4 or 5. It's interesting. I saw it, but go ahead and say what the top 4 or 5 of the.
It's very diverse, and that much I appreciate. So it's Adeptus Custodes in first, Thousand Sons in second, Astra Militarum in third, moi. Fourth place was Dark Angels, and then fifth place was Tyranids.
Not bad. That's quite a
It's
spread.
very diverse. The one Eldari player, he had a very offshoot Eldar list, and he didn't score amazing. It seems
Hmm. What do you mean by offshoot Eldarly lists?
he was Wraith spam.
As opposed to like what do you call
As
this?
exposed to like what people are running right now with the devastating wounds.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's
Silly little buggers.
I will actually probably run the Wraith Guards as my list because they look so cool.
They're super fun. It's super fun. I'm very upset that the army just overshadows them with like the cheesiness of them, you know?
I mean, full freaking rerolls, man. Well, not full rerolls, but reroll to hit, to wound. I don't know if the damage is in there or not, but come on, man.
The Wraith Lords?
Well, the army in general. I don't know if it's
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they get the most. I don't know if it's Eldari or a particular ability, but I know a lot of them gets the one reroll to hit wound. You know, it's really nice against just one-shot things, or even if you do mass shooting, it's still nice to do. That sounds
It
terrible.
is the entire army. That's their
Yeah,
faction bonus,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
which is laughably good compared to like some of the other ones that exist.
Yeah. Uh, that's something that should I keep complaining here. No, I mean, yeah, I think they just gave way too many stuff to the Eldar. They need to spread out some of that abilities, like hit and run. I know they have something good like that. They have freaking rerolls to hit and to wound. That's just too much. They should either get one or the other and spread out the other ones to other armies. I mean, don't get me wrong. Space Marines got the I get full rerolls to hit and wound, but it is against one unit. It's still pretty devastating, but at least it's one unit. And then if you have Garly Man, that's 2 units if you wipe out the one.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. The amount of rerolls that you can get is still a lot of rerolls.
I mean,
Like objectively, still a lot.
yeah, they said they were trying to take it away, and it seems like I don't know if they really did or did it. Maybe this slightly less, but not that much less.
It sure doesn't feel like it. I agree with them. Like there are less rerolls, but the problem is there's less rerolls overall in the game and not in every codex. That's the problem. Does that make sense? What I just said? I guess.
No.
I think I said it weird. Okay, so they took away rerolls from every army, but then added back rerolls to only a select couple of armies.
Yes, that makes more sense now.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I remember when they showed off the Space Marines and they say, "Oh yeah, we're removing rerolls or limiting it." It's like you just gave Space Marines full rerolls here.
Yep, they sure freaking did. You know how many rerolls the guard got?
How many?
1. It's the Scout Sentinel.
Well, I will say at least Tau slightly got better off with that with Shadow Sun, Crisis Commander, and the Stealth Suit and the Tetris.
We have I'm pretty sure it's just this one as far as I can remember. It's a Sergeant Harker or something like that. You attach him to Catachan, and he can he lets them re-roll the wound roll in melee. And I'm like, come on, dude. Why am I doing this? Why would I ever do this?
Do they even have any kind of special melee attacks?
Oh no, he's a baller. Yeah, he kills Marines easily in combat. He's just a guardsman and he's killing Marines. But like you like everything else also kills Marines. Like I don't need one guardsman going around and doing that. I have an army dedicated to killing stuff.
From range.
Yeah, from range. 65 points of guardsman, like maybe killing a Marine in combat is not what I need.
All right.
They've done Catachan dirty 2 editions in a row, and it's very, very upsetting.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to add to this odd discussion about the tournament with us spinning off quite a bit?
Yeah, I'm sorry for just from derailing us like so much, but
No, that's
if there was
mostly me.
one thing I would say, it would be to I want to see you at more of them.
You want the what?
I want to see you at more of them.
More of what? Oh, the tournaments?
Well, yeah, the freaking thing we're talking about. Yeah.
Well, streamline my list, which I'm doing as I play the game, and also have to take time off work. So, but
Yeah,
yes,
okay,
obviously.
just don't work.
Oh yeah, the one that's paying for the hobby and the bills, right? Just be
Yeah, yeah,
homeless
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
just hold
yeah,
on
yeah,
to my bucket full of towel and come in there smelling like, yes, it's Wednesday.
if there's one thing that I can say, and if anybody's listening to this that is not sure about 10th edition yet or sure about the game, the 10th edition rules are probably the best that the game has had in a while as
Really?
far as streamlined goes. Unfortunately, the codexes provided are the worst that we've had in a while.
Really, I'm hearing different. I'm hearing terrible things about 10th edition. Like ninth edition seemed to be fairly good, and 10th edition is a mess.
Well, 10th edition is a mess because of the codexes. The core rules, I think, are perfectly fine.
Well, okay. Well, anyways, you threw it out there. Putting yourself out
I mean,
there.
I know that that is an opinion. I know that
Yes.
that is an opinion,
I
and
mean, look.
I am well aware. I'm well aware that I may have to defend that in the future.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Every edition is probably gonna be rough at the very beginning, and then people will find out as more people play the issues with the codex or issues with the rules. There are a few. It's gonna get ironed out, but it seems like GW's taking its precious time. I think because they made a rule that they're gonna only ever make iterations or changes ever so often, instead of it being like patch as needed. Except for they did that with the what's that squad? That Space Marine Specialty Squad.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know the reason that they don't want to patch as needed everything is because they want actual data before they start doing stuff. But
Well,
also at the same time, they could be more frequent. They 100% could be more
well, at
frequent.
least with the rules and stuff and the core rules, that's what they need to be on top of, because there's been certain confusions on certain rules with certain armies that they need to clarify in the rule book, because eligibility to shoot was like one of them, and it's still kind of in question.
It is not in question. That is covered distinctly in the rules commentary that they did release several weeks after the core rulebooks.
So if you just fired your gun, your unit just fired their shots, are they eligible to shoot?
No, they have shot.
Nope, they're technically eligible to shoot.
Why?
Because the only thing that takes away your eligibility to shoot is falling back and advancing.
Are you
Yep,
sure?
that's in the rule book.
Oh my god, you're making me pull this shit up again. Hold on.
Alright. Alright, so what did you find?
Okay, so I have found eligibility to shoot and firing models.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to make your argument?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so eligible to shoot unless a unit advanced or fell back this turn, or it is locked in combat, it is eligible to shoot, even if no models in that unit are equipped with ranged weapons.
Mm-hmm.
This means that such a unit can be selected for any rules that require you to select a unit that is eligible to shoot.
So basically shooting does not make them ineligible to shoot then.
I would argue against that because eligible to shoot means that they can shoot. If they are shooting, then that puts them in a different it puts them in a different light, right? So I would say the way that this is interpreted, and I don't see a way that it is like laid out perfectly in the commentary, but if you are shooting with a unit, they are not eligible to shoot, and once they are finished resolving their attacks, they are no longer eligible to shoot.
Okay, what was the other one that you found?
Firing models by unit. When resolving a ranged attack, the model unit making the attack is the firing model unit. When all of attacking units' attacks have been resolved, it is finished making its attacks.
Okay, that is a so. Do you see anything about ineligible to shoot? I've been trying to find out in this.
Negative. But I will say that most of the secondary cards that give you the eligibility to shoot thing also stipulate and also has not shot this phase.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't remember the wording on the secondary cards. Let's see. So the fire Overwatch stratagem. Say you fired in your shooting phase, right?
No.
No.
You use the fire Overwatch stratagem in either the enemy's movement or their charge phase.
Yeah, but I guess whenever a new turn occurs, then everyone's eligible to shoot, but they can't shoot because it's not their shooting phase.
True.
Okay, fair enough. Then that'd make the fire Overwatch rule make sense because it says that you was it target one unit from your army that's within 24 inches of enemy that would be eligible to shoot if it were your shooting phase.
Yeah, see, they include the would be. So like that will stop you from you wouldn't be allowed to do that if you were locked in combat, if you didn't have line of sight,
What about if you
so on and
advanced?
so forth. If you advanced.
Yeah.
So read it back to me.
Well, one unit from your army that's within 24 of that enemy unit and that would be eligible to shoot if it were your shooting phase.
Yes. So you're saying that if I advanced in the previous phase, would they have been eligible to shoot?
You advance on your turn, now my turn, now move, you want to overwatch with the unit that just advanced on your turn.
That is a good question. That one I would leave up to interpretation from somebody from the rules. Because I don't know how that resets.
Yeah, man, this is getting again way off topic, but very very interesting and fun
Well,
stuff.
I
that
mean,
could have
you
been
realize that you're the only one asking these questions, right?
Anyway,
like
so
everyone else is like, "Oh yeah, I'll just take this as it is," and you're like, "No, but this."
no. Other people have asked this. I've been kind of looking around about eligibility to shoot because Tau plays a lot with the eligibility to shoot stuff, and people are doing the daisy chain stuff. Where
Yes, yeah, I guess that's fair.
and so it's been kind of a thing. I don't play that way just because I play as I think it's intended, which is half your army essentially gets the benefit, and the other half are just out of luck.
That is how I think it is supposed to be. I don't like it. My main problem with the Tau right now is that if they shoot something that they're not spotted, they get -1 to hit. I just wish they hit normally.
Yes,
That would
exactly.
make sense.
That
Like,
would
yeah, if they're shooting normally, then they're shooting normally. But if they're guided against one unit, all of a sudden those other guardsmen are suddenly hard to see. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
it's like on their screen. It's like okay, you want us to shoot that guy? I'll shoot this other guy. All of a sudden, their screen's like flashing a whole bunch of lights. Like no, no, no. It's
Yeah,
like I
and then
can't
they,
see.
and then they move the eye patch to the other eye for some reason. I don't understand why that has to be like a clause.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we gone way off topic. This is great stuff for other discussions on YouTube.
Yeah,
So anyways,
we'll
I
add
guess
we'll add this in dubbed over like some other content.
no, it's all going in one. I don't feel like editing all this stuff out. Is there anything else that you want to say besides the fact that you're streaming on Twitch as Messy Desk? What?
Messy Desk Minis. Yeah, you can find me on Twitch. Please follow us. We have a hot tub stream coming up at 100 followers, and I know everybody should be excited for that.
Absolutely. I can't wait till you spill your paint into the hot tub.
Well, we're giving. I think I'm gonna give away the model that I paint in the hot tub because
Ooh.
I don't want that model.
Well, because it's gonna be kind of hard to paint because all the steam and it never
Yeah,
dries up.
because no, you can't paint in a hot tub. That is nothing but moisture and heat, which is the enemy of paint.
It's gonna look like that infamous space marine. That's just like a blob marine, as I call them. So
Yeah,
much thick.
I probably will be painting a space marine.
Alright, anyways, that's the end of the video. If you like our content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.
Thank you for having me on. Y'all have a good one.